Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of It's CPA Time. What is CPA time? It is three girlfriends who get together, discuss topics, and invite you in to join us. Let me introduce you to my girlfriends who make up CPA time. The C is the beautiful Carolyn Leslie.
Hello, everyone.
The A is the awesome Almedia Johnson.
Hey, everybody.
And I am your host for this evening, Pamela Norals. And we welcome you all once again to CPA time. Okay, ladies, the question for today. Remember, it's only one side, but this particular question is so juicy. It is going to have you running a roller coaster of feelings. So, whatever you need to hold on to, just get ready. Get ready, get ready. And to our audience, you get ready as well.
Okay.
You may even want to take notes on this one. It's a little long, but if you hang in there, it'll be worth it. Okay? Okay. The question is, help. My son hates me due to my husband.
Okay.
All right. When my son was 11 years old, his father and I divorced and split custody. 2 years later, I remarried a man who didn't get along with my son, to say the least. Even during our courtship, my son was anxious in interacting, but was still respectful. My husband saw dealing with my son as something that he signed up for as long as we remained together. But still, my husband kept his distance from my son. After we got married, things got worse, with my husband avoiding my son whenever he came to visit. Hubby soon started to harshly criticize my son. That fussing would be about anything so simple as occasionally getting a snack from the fridge without permission or forgetting to cut the lights off in his bedroom. My husband even suggested that I should limit my visitations with my son. I asked him why does he hate my son? He said, no hate, just dislike. He went on to explain that he hates the fact that my son is so introverted and awkward, and that it's enough that he already has to tolerate him. I always stood up for my son, chastised my husband in private, and told my son not to take it seriously. The agonizing only lessened once I got pregnant with our daughter 5 years ago. By that time, my son felt alienated. I admit I always prioritized my relationship with my husband over my son. I made more of an effort in spending time with my husband than my son. I understood that this made my son feel second place, but he didn't understand that he would eventually start a life of his own, leaving me with only my husband. Yes, I could have spent more time with my son, but no parent is perfect, and it's always a struggle to keep a balance. My son was becoming distant from me, focusing on his studies more. At least it paid off in that he got a huge university scholarship. But shockingly, he cut me off the day he was supposed to return for winter break.
Okay.
Here is the email that he sent me. Dear Mom, I no longer want a relationship with you. Your love holds little to no value to me anymore. I don't
Wow.
resent you for divorcing Dad. I don't resent you for finding love again and wanting to get remarried. However, these past years have taught me an important lesson. I've learned that the relationships one holds onto play a role in their identity. You can't say you love me more than anything in the world while loving a man who treats me like an unwanted burden. I resent you for making him my stepfather. I resent you for making me treat someone who hates me being around like an authority parental figure, even though he hasn't earned it. I resent you for always choosing him over me. Don't call me anymore. Don't visit me. I have a great life in college with new friends. I guess I am not the weirdo with no friends, as said by the excuse of a human being who you call your husband.
Wow.
And I still have Dad who loves me. Goodbye forever. That message still haunts me. I tried calling only to discover that my number had been blocked. When I attempted to visit him, only to have him refuse me dorm access. He eventually threatened to get a restraining order against me. That's when I backed off. My mother and my sister are the only connection that I have to him. My mother was the one who told me that he was currently pursuing a PhD
Wow.
at an Ivy League. My sister allows me to log into her account to see pictures of him. Whenever I see his graduation pictures with only his dad invited or pictures of his friends, I just burst into tears. What could I do? Can I still get him back? So that is the letter. This
Mm.
mom is wondering, what can she do, or what did she do wrong, I guess. I mean, she seems to feel that she had no choice in the decision she's made. She says, what could I do? And then the next question is, can I still get him back? So, who would like to tackle this terrible, terrible, terrible problem?
Okay. I
I
mean,
didn't
if you
even
want to
know
go first, that's fine. Cause
I
I'm
didn't
in
even
my
know where to
I'm an
start.
emotional wreck right now.
I
Ooh.
told you. I told you.
This
You were right.
one.
You were right.
This one needs Dr. Phil.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
It
gosh.
has your emotions just going all over.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
really.
So okay.
It's
I
sad.
wrote some notes. I wrote down some notes as you were talking.
Hmm.
Before I answer her question, um, this is what is jumping out at me. She abandoned her son. Her husband, her first husband, and she got divorced, which was the son's father. So she abandoned the son when that marriage was over, as far as being a mother and a caretaker to him. I feel, and this is just one side of the story that we hear, I
Right.
feel that she was desperate for love through a relationship. And that was her, I'm not going to even say her main focus. That was her only focus.
Mm.
He did not um, accept your son. So why would you even marry him? He did not accept him. Why would you even marry him? And then fast forward, he's now in college. You are surprised?
Exactly.
You threw him away.
Mm-hmm.
You threw him away. Mothers, fathers, the parents are to be the caretakers, the providers, do the rearing of the child, do the discipline of the child, love the child through words and actions.
Almeida, let me interrupt you for just a second because I feel like maybe we need to break this letter down into parts because
Okay.
you pointed out that she knew that her husband to be before she married him, that he did not consider him, he considered the son as something to be tolerated.
Yes.
So
I wrote that word there.
So why, like you said, why would she continue to entertain a relationship with someone who did not accept the package deal?
Right. So she allowed her son to not be worthy in the life of her potential new husband.
Mm-hmm.
If he's gonna disregard him, then that's okay. I'll allow that to happen. You can't do that. He's a human being. He's not a toy. He's a human being. You can't do that. And when they got married, the husband's opinion of him, he's weird, he's awkward, he doesn't have any friends. Well, you didn't get a chance to know him. You didn't try to build a relationship with him. I don't know what the situation was in the first marriage, but it seems that the father was a little bit better than her because he would come visit the mom.
Apparently, yeah.
From the story, and we just have one side. The father had primary custody of the child.
That's right. It said split custody.
Yes. And then it said when he would come to visit.
Yes.
And so that in my head is like, oh, the dad has majority custody. Now to get to her question, what can she do? She can she can really take this time of separation because the son has done a separation. Take this time of separation to really look at the situation of what happened and try to figure out how do you apologize. You can't make up for it, but to apologize and to acknowledge his hurt. So many times in dysfunctional situations, it's the one that is hurt becomes the victim again because they speak out about it. So don't victimize him a second time. Actually try to get to the validity of what he is saying because it happened to him. So even in her asking the question, what can I do? I was surprised. Really? No. And can I still get him back? Can I still get him back? That answer is if you are open to understanding and receiving what he wants to share with you outside of that letter that got him to that point. It's just so much. It's just Carolyn. It's just so much.
Well, one thing Pam said it was going to be something else, and that one is First of all, I'm gonna come right off the bat and say the husband needs to be shot. You know, he needs to just get rid of him. First of all, you knew what kind of man he was. Then, right, she went on to marry him after he was initially abusing a child with his words and saying different things to her about his character, who he was, and he's plowing down on the obvious. I mean, if he is weird and he doesn't have friends, why do you have to point that out? I mean, you could say to her, does he have friends, or is he antisocial? You talked about him being an introvert. Why does that bother the husband so bad about who the child is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why. What has him so rattled? Is he a narcissist? I mean, because he doesn't want anybody else. He wants the spotlight, obviously. He doesn't want to share her attention. And does it mention that he's the only child, or she had a daughter or something after that?
Well, she ended up having a daughter with the new
With the
husband.
now husband.
Yes.
She needs to go and get checked out. Like Almedia said, Dr. Phil, whoever else we can bring in, all Dr. Phil's buddies that be on his show. She needs to go sit down with somebody, because it's not normal for you to choose a man over your son, especially one of that level of abuse.
Right.
Where he's not hitting him, he's still hurting him. And he's hurt him to the point where he split from his mom. And he only finds solace in his real dad. So from the looks of it, we know that God can do anything, but it doesn't look like it's going to heal anytime soon. I can't get over the husband being so rude and so blunt about, and being so negative about, this is this woman's seed. I mean, what doesn't click in his head to say everybody loves their child? What's going on with him? And moreover, what's going on with her that you allow something like this to, to hurt your son like this?
Yeah.
Almost sound irreparable, but like I said, God can fix it. But like Almedia, she's got to be willing to take whatever he has to say. Because from that letter, it looks like he got a whole lot of stuff piled up. And she has to be.
The letter, it doesn't seem like that she has accepted her fault.
Right.
Yeah. She writes this letter with her excuses. And if she hadn't put the email that the son sent her in the letter, there's no telling how skewed we would be seeing this situation. But by putting his actual thoughts, his actual email in this letter, we get to see more of what really happened. Because that's some hurt in this letter. That's some hurt for a son to want to put a restraining order against his mom because she wants to see him. That is some deep hurt. That yes, Dr. Phil and who else do we know that are famous psychiatrists?
I know.
We need a
Iyanla Van
Please come. Please come. We're begging you to come in this situation.
Yes.
The fact that she's not going to look for him and fall down on her knees and say, baby, I'm sorry. I don't care where he is. I would be somewhere outside his dorm throwing rocks up to the window.
I know, right?
I see the light now,
Yeah. You're looking at his pictures from your sister.
Her mom and her sisters
still have a relationship with him.
As if like you have accepted this. Like, well,
Yeah.
don't get it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
And then evidently she is still with the husband.
Oh yes, it sounds like she is.
Yes.
She
So
need to, she need to be on. She need to do a strawberry letter so they can eat her up.
Yes.
If she get a strawberry letter,
Yes. Do
she would
that.
go sign him. She would.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah,
Steve would
he
get her.
would have a
Steve
field
Harvey
Right.
would get her.
Yeah.
Yes.
he
Whew.
would have a field day. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to accept somebody to treat your son. I mean, really, you're gonna fuss about him getting a snack out of the refrigerator?
Yeah. And 11 years old, that every age is vulnerable.
Yeah.
But to get divorced, he's 11, and then 2 years
Right.
is not a long time.
Right.
And then you make this decision.
Mm.
And, no, no. Mm-mm.
So I feel really, really sorry for the young man. I feel his pain, and you know, you just want to hug him and send him to Dr. Phil by himself so he can
Get his healing.
shed, yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
he can
Yeah.
shed his pain. I mean, he's pushing himself. I mean, he's going for his PhD. So he's pushing himself in that respect, but you know, how is he doing with
Yeah.
emotional wise?
Right. That's my concern too.
Yes.
He's going forward and he's making progress, on his career path, but
Mhm.
you can imagine the stuff he got, packed down. And
Right.
Right.
so I'm
Right.
wondering when he have his own children and will it come out? How will it come
Mhm.
out?
How would it
Yeah,
come out?
yeah. How will
Yeah.
it come out? Because it probably will come out.
Because you're gonna have it's trust issues there, abandonment issues,
Mm-hmm.
accountability, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to suppress something from being a 11-year-old to a college student, that's many years of suppressing stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
Not just basic stuff, raw hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows how it's building and building and building. We're just waiting for the right trigger that's going to release
Right.
Yeah.
of this pent up anger and resentment,
Right.
and you know, with no idea of how it's going to show
Right.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this letter actually brought about the topic for today that we'll be able to slide right in. And the topic I wanted to talk about today is blended families. Uh, the divorce rate in this country is so high. I think last time I saw a statistic, it was at 70% of marriages are ending in divorce. Plus, we have a lot of children that are being born out of wedlock and raised by single parents. And so by the time they find love and get married, their potential spouse also more than likely has children.
Right.
So now
Mm-hmm.
you've got these two families
Right.
who the children are basically strangers um, to each other, and sometimes to the step parent, and you're trying to make a family, put together a family. Um, so statistically, more families are blended families now. And what is well, I know Almeida's position because she has a blended family, and
Mm-hmm.
although I've never been married, I did make a bad choice and tried to blend the family uh and without the benefit of marriage, and it did not work.
Oh, well, but you lived.
I,
You
You
lived to
live to
tell
tell
it.
the story.
I
Right.
I gained insight and some strategies, and then of course my beautiful sister Carolyn, whose future mate is on his way. He's praying about her right now, and
Amen.
he is on his way. But
Glory.
Woo!
there's a possibility,
Yeah, I know I get excited on that now.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
We
Oh,
only,
Lord.
we only speak great things.
Amen.
We
Amen.
Hallelujah.
positive. It's not about if, it's about when.
It's about when.
But there's
As,
a
as,
possibility he could have um, not only adult children, he could even have, young children. Um, so I think we all have something that we can add to this topic. And so since Almeida went first, Carolyn, can you uh, give us an idea on what you feel about blended families and how to make those work, or do they work, or
I feel like they work when push comes to shove. The lady don't have nowhere to go with her children. The man don't have nowhere to go with his kids. So they are forced to live under the same roof, and economically, they make it work because that's what they need right now. But the scariest part to me, as you was reading that, I was just thinking more and more about parents are young parents now. And the upbringing or the raising that we had, we don't see that now. So back then, you didn't know if you saw a husband and a wife and some children, you didn't know it was blended family. You just thought all of us the ladies' kids. Their kids together. You did not know that, oh, four of them was his and three of them was hers. They made it work because back then it was, old Papa went down the street and made another family, and they didn't hate each other. And so, well, they hated each
they
other.
didn't
Let me
know
just
each
say
other.
that. Let me say that. I'm gonna throw that in there. They hated each other, but they managed and they did what was best for the children. Now, goes back to what I was saying about the parents being so young now. Who's disciplining the children? Baby, that's a recipe for disaster. A blended family nowadays, like I said, push come to shove and we don't have no other resources, we gotta live together. Other than that, that's not gonna work. Cause ain't nobody raising the children. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't shoot me on this podcast.
Don't come
I'm
for. Don't
blunt
come
about
for.
it. Y'all not taking the time that y'all need. Some of you are. A small percentage of you are raising those kids the right way, telling them and make sure the man is right. That goes back to the story we just did. Make sure that the man is respectful, he's caring, he's a nurturer. You do not want to bring your kids up in a house where the man is abusing your children or vice versa. Make sure the children are in a healthy and safe environment. I don't care what your economic needs are. Make sure that you are coming up in a good home. To me, that's first. Your basic needs, your safety. Nobody's gonna be abused. Nobody's gonna be, touched when you go to bed. You ain't gotta worry about your girls or your boys for that matter. I ain't gonna just say girls because now we know it's happening on, with both of the genders. So I just don't see it working in this pandemic. I just don't see it because everything I see or every parent I see is 17, 18. it's gonna be a problem. I just don't see it working because they're trying to work, trying to have a little something, or either they're receiving what's that payment, y'all?
The
Um,
10.
The child tax credit and all
yeah.
that. You know, so we're getting bukus or food stamps, and I ain't got no problem with that. If you can get them and you need them, then you should have them. But my thing is, it's just not enough discipline for. You got to be a Christian family to be a blended family nowadays. You got to be a Christian person with understanding, not just a Christian family. You got to be disciplined. You got to be able to take stuff, give and take, compromise. If you don't, I just don't see. I mean, you don't even hardly hear tell of blended families anymore. The ones that are, they've been grandfathered in. And what I mean by that is that it's been a long time they've been together, you know. Ain't nobody trying to move with nobody come together. You got 10, I got 10. Baby, no. And then the mama so young, you know she ain't cooking. Y'all gonna eat pizza? What else? Noodles?
Corn dogs.
Ain't no healthy in there. Corn dogs, potato chips,
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Oh God, don't even mention McDonald's. What do you do? This society is not gonna a blended family. I don't see it surviving, except by the grace of God, and you're a Christian person, like I said, with some management now, serious management. Okay, I'm sure. I don't see it. Sorry, I don't see it.
Thank you,
What you got,
Carolyn, for keeping it real. That was real. That was real. My experience. I was older when I got married. I was over 35 when I got married. My husband, I'm wife number 2. And we ain't gonna count no higher than 2.
All right.
2 and done. 2 and done. And my husband's name is done.
Girl, you ought to be in Hollywood. I'm telling you, I love that.
And he's older than me. So he's 8 years older than me. So he had 2 baby mamas. And when he proposed, and I said yes. And I was like, oh, I'm finna go through this. I don't know nothing about this. I don't have any biological children. But the children that God gifted me, God loved me so much that he gave me an inheritance without the pain of childbirth. Now, I did have some pain in blending this family. I did. I am not going to lie to y'all. I have 1 daughter and I have 4 sons. And one of my sons has special needs. And so it was what worked for me. You gotta get to know Jesus. You gotta get to know Jesus.
Ooh.
The husband and the wife on their own, blending a family is it's difficult without Jesus and the Holy Spirit to hold your tongue, Almedia. Listen to somebody else's way. Wait the situation out.
What you saying?
Because you're not only, when you get married at 17 or 18, and I'll say even up to age 25, it's you coming from mom and dad's home and their ideology, their doctrines, their way of running a household. And but that wasn't the case. My husband was married before, so he had established his own home with the first wife and their way of doing things, and um, children involved in that marriage and children outside of that marriage that was before that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to know those women and getting to know the children. What really helped me with the children is I said to all of them, I am not replacing anybody. I'm not replacing mama. I'm not replacing daddy.
That's good.
I am not going to talk about your mom. I don't know her. I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I don't know
Right.
her.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
you won't get that from me. I did let them know I'm gonna learn you.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them I am a square. And
That's cute.
um my life works better when there's order and not chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Um I grew up in a family on Sundays. Everybody came to mama's house and we had Sunday dinner and we sat and we talked and the kids played outside and you weren't in grown folks' business.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
And we ended up taking naps on the couch together. Like you'll come to mama's at 2 in the evening and won't leave to 10 at night.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That was our routine. But that Sunday dinner, that Sunday ritual is where you caught up with each other, where you learned about this person lost their job and this
Mm-hmm.
person really likes this person. They
Right.
got a new boyfriend, they got a new girlfriend. Um, when family came home to visit, that was the house that they came to. So I was used to the fellowship of a family.
Wow.
Even if
Okay.
that was just once a week.
Mm-hmm.
To be blended, you have to be sure about your relationship with the spouse, that you're not
Mm-hmm.
competing with the ex-wife, that you're not competing with the other woman. And if it's a man coming into a situation where the woman has been married, you're not competing with her ex-husband. You're not competing with who she just moved out from. You
Mm-hmm.
asked the question, man, in most situations, she said yes. So let's build from that. And then in that, build your boundaries and establish how you guys will discipline when the child or the children are with you. Some of my children were grown when I came into their life. So there was not a matter of discipline. There was just two that were underage,
Mm-hmm.
my daughter and my son with special needs. So what's going to work for them? And to get to know the children so that you can figure out what makes them tick, what interests them, what excites them. You're still protecting and guiding
Mm-hmm.
and providing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in my household, we never went to sleep with the TV on. That's just one of our things. And so in my home, we don't sleep with the TV on. And so if that's something you do at mom's, that's fine. Here, we have a certain bedtime and we have a routine for bedtime and stuff like that. I just wanted the children to know that I love your dad and I'm going to love you
Mm-hmm.
because you are an extension of him. And so there was never um, well, I don't like that child because they bad or she's sassy or, anything like that. Um,
So are these things that you and your husband talked about before you got married, um, or was it after you got married? But yet you still talked about these things ahead of time.
Well, before we dated for 3 years. And during that time, I would spend time with him and the kids. And especially the youngest two, we would go out of town for the day. Um, and we'll do fun stuff. We'll do educational stuff because they were school age. And
Right.
so we'll go to like the Barnes and Noble bookstore. They had never been there before. We'll do shopping. We'll do dinner. Just regular stuff. And that gave me a chance to kind of see them in all different ways
Mm-hmm.
to get to know them better so that they can be more
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with me, because it's like daddy's got a girlfriend,
Yeah,
you know,
they
that's
get
what
to
they'll
know
say, like
you.
daddy's got a girlfriend, her name is Miss Almeida. And because I did crafts and stuff, they gravitated towards me. So um it was spending time with them, doing crafts, creating stuff so that they became more comfortable with things, exposing them to things that they hadn't been exposed to, but just really just loving on them and understanding them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with my son with special needs, he's on the autistic spectrum. And so
Mm-hmm.
he learned differently and he behaved differently. And I just love him. I just love him. Because I say, Sam, I don't know how to do this. Anything electronic. If we got anything new electronic in the house, he didn't have to read a book. He just did it. Just super smart like that. Like, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That would have took me daddy a whole minute to do. And it's something that he enjoyed. And then he'll be like explaining it to you and stuff. And you know, that was his joy. That was electronics
Right.
is his joy. So now one of the things that he loves to do is the train. He lives in New York. He loves trains. He does the train simulation. It's a whole game. It's a whole app. All of that stuff. And so he loves that part. So it was a matter of me getting to know them getting to know me, and to really know that I cared for their dad. I wasn't just there, just a girlfriend he dating and he gonna move on to somebody. I love your dad and I'm gonna be with your dad if that's, you know, um, if
And I
that's what
think
you
that's
want.
what's missing today
Yeah.
is uh is the fact that people don't take time anymore. Um,
True.
you took
True.
time. They
True.
had 3 years to get to know you, and you get to know them,
Mm-hmm.
and each one feel comfortable. So when the time came that you were actually sharing space, um, and living as a family, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
barriers were already knocked down. But in today's society, people are jumping in, moving in together with the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
quickness, uh, probably more economic reasons than love. Before love has even been established, let's just go ahead, let's move in together, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and for economic reasons. Now you're in it, and now you get to spend time with these kids, and you realize, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
little Joey bad, little Mary, she keep the house messy,
Uh-huh.
food everywhere. We got where these roaches come from,
And so when we got married and my daughter would come every other weekend, she'll call and she's like, Miss Almeida, what color are we gonna wear this weekend? I was like, well, you choose. And she'll be like, okay, we're gonna wear pink. And so she when she'll come, we'll have on Saturday, we'll wear the same color. And that was choir practice day at church. She was part of the youth choir at the church I belong to, because my church had more youth than her dad's. And so she enjoyed that church more because it was kids her age and it was more kids her age. And so, and she, when we got married in September, and Christmas, my children got gifts from my sisters and brothers. And my daughter said, it's like I'm a real niece. I said, honey, you are a real niece. You are my daughter that God gave to me by way of your mom and dad. And she's like, oh, wow. And so she'll go spend the summers with one of my sisters, just like the other nieces would spend. And because my family is one, when they take you in, they just take you in the whole package.
Very good.
Package. And so she felt loved. And you know, when they have graduations and you can only get 10 tickets, it's like, hello, I got 15 aunties and uncles. What I'm supposed to do? I got 2 mamas, a daddy, and 15 aunties and uncles. I need more than 10 tickets. So when we married, she was 8, and then so that made me feel good. That made me feel good.
Well, so you wanted to feel
can work. Yes, blended families can work, but that's if you put the work in. But if you come in like with the situation, Carolyn, that you spoke of, which unfortunately nowadays is the majority of these temporary families that come together. Because they're coming together without the benefit of marriage, let alone time getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And so I'm afraid of what the future generations are going to look like. Will marriage even exist? Because we're bringing children into unhealthy relationships, and you break up, and now mama goes and gets another guy, or dad goes and gets another girl, and you're back and forth, and most times out of 10, those are going to break up, and you're steady introducing these new unstable
men, right, over your children.
I don't want to paint it as all rosy. I don't. I did have issues.
You didn't.
I did have issues with the mom, but we are in a great place now. And actually, Dunn and I had an issue once, and he brought my daughter home, and I was like, oh, did I get the weekends mixed up? He's like, no. I went by to see her, and she said she wanted to come home with me. I was like, okay, but you didn't call me. He said, it's okay.
It's okay.
I was like, okay. I said, but honey, I said, boo, I have this, and this plan for tomorrow, so you're gonna have to keep her. He's like, it's okay. So she's like 10 or 11 then. So I had commitments that I couldn't break. So she couldn't go with me that Saturday anywhere. So she stayed at home with Dad. And it was probably, I left the house maybe 9 that morning. I didn't get back to like 6 that evening. And she's like, Miss Almeida. I said, well, she says, look at this. Look at this. And I don't know. And I was like, well, she says, Daddy combed my hair. Look at this. He doesn't know how to do it. And I said, honey, it's okay. She says, he doesn't know what to do with girls. I was like, he ended up mowing the yard. He doesn't know what to do with girls. So we got ready for bed, and she went on to her bedroom, and then my husband said, I understand what you said. I said, oh, Say that again. He said, I understand what you said. Now I get it. I said, yeah, because when she comes, she's with me. You say we have her for the weekend, but she's with me.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, next time I will call. I said, well, yes, sir.
I like the way you handle that because I've been like, now wait, come on, let's go. We need to go talk, because you don't do that now. But I'm serious though.
Yeah.
I've gone through it when I was married. I've been married twice,
Okay.
and my first husband had, I think, 4 children. I guess I'm counting right. And so I loved them as my own.
Mm-hmm.
They would even call me mom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see them as stepchildren, because I'm a nurturer. So when I get kids in my presence, I want to love on them. I want to comb their hair, and
Yeah.
do those
Yeah.
type of things. It was not without a lot of friction. Yeah, it was some of that going on. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he passed away, and so the kids went back to live, back with the mom. We would get them on the holidays, weekends, summer. And so after he passed away, we lost connection with each other. I don't like that. I really want to know how they're doing, but I got this thing in me where if you break away from me, sometimes I just let it go. I want to call. What's he doing now? I pull
God
away
is a
too.
restorer.
Yeah.
God is a restorer.
And so when I remarried, my husband had two boys and a grown daughter that I found out about later.
Okay.
And they treated me fine. I treated them fine. But we are older. When you get a little bit older, past 25 or 30, you start to see things differently. But you got these 17, 18-year-old moms and they meet these guys and he move into their apartment or they move in. I'm telling y'all, it's not gonna work. And then, like Pam was just saying a minute ago, what if he don't know how to handle the breakup? What if he don't know how to handle? Like she said, you keep introducing new people to your children.
Mm-hmm.
So they never get to know one person. And then y'all been watching the news. Y'all know these stepdads or whatever you want to call them, they've been shooting the mama and the children.
Mm-hmm.
And it just
Yes.
been breaking my heart because he didn't know how to handle it. He never been in a
Right.
situation like
Right.
that,
Right.
and she talking about leaving me and it's just gonna be me or whatever, and then you taking the kids and they don't know what to do. So they do what they feel they need to do to get a quick solution. And they
Yeah.
they get rid of the mom, the children.
For the
So
younger
in
couples.
the
Okay.
excuse me, just a second. In the interest of time,
Yes. 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 Yes.
um, you both can have 1 minute to wrap up. However you want to wrap this up in a nice, pretty bow.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Almeida.
All right. All right. I would say being in a blended family has blessed me because it has taught me how to love on a whole different capacity that I didn't even think I could. And for younger couples that are considering it, please go to and get some resources through therapy of how to bring a family together.
You sure
Good.
you want to hear my 1 minute? Don't do it. Don't do it because you're not ready for it. Go to a Planned Parent center, get some information, get some family therapy. Do all that before y'all try to move together just because you need him to help pay your bills and you find out you done moved in with a psycho or vice versa. Take time and get to know each other first. See what your likes are and what your differences are. See if you can come together under one roof. If not, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to see you in the news, okay? Seriously.
Mm, mm.
Well, I'd like to finish this topic out with parents, whether you're the mother or the father. Your kids matter the most.
Amen.
It's not about you. This is a very hard lesson to learn. So the younger you start, the better off you are, the better off your kids will be. But the lesson is to prioritize your kids. If you're going to have kids, prioritize them. Don't be afraid of whether or not you're going to be alone. With kids, you're never alone.
Never.
Kids,
Never.
and no matter what age they grow up, however long they live, they are still your children.
That's right.
You never lose your children. You can lose a husband. You can get divorced. You can lose a husband, but you cannot divorce your kids.
Amen.
So,
Right.
Amen.
and then a
That's
lot of
good.
times, and a lot of times if the kids are happy, that's even easier on the marriage when you do decide to settle down with someone.
Mm-hmm.
All families, even biological kids, you have issues. You're gonna have issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't add other things that really aren't necessary, such as
Right.
using a stranger in your house. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Don't
Don't do
do
it.
it.
Over these precious souls. Yes.
Don't
Yeah,
look. Just don't do it.
don't do it. Don't do it.
You're not ready yet. Wait till you get ready for it.
Yes. And do it the right way and the safe way. Okay. I feel like we could just keep going on and
We
on
could.
and on and on to the break of dawn, on and on. But
Oh.
we we have come to the end of another edition of It's CPA Time with Carolyn Leslie, Almedia Johnson, and your host for this evening, Pam Norals. We thank you for watching this episode, and if you get a chance to send us a comment on this topic, please do. We want to hear from you. And so,
Yes, we do.
until we see each other again, everyone just be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Mwah, 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 mwah.